Hello and welcome everyone to Les Brown's Motivational Call. Anita Hicks will be right back with us. This is Stacy N.C. Grant, your co-host for the evening. So glad to hear all of your voices on the first Monday in June, June 2nd, 2014. We're so excited that you're here, that you've spent your time wisely and logged on to Les Brown's free motivational Monday night call featuring Les Brown's Platinum speakers. We're just thrilled that we're on this mission together to change this world one person at a time and fulfill Mr. Brown's mission of 100,000 voices of hope. So I'm going to introduce back to you Miss Anita Hicks. We're having just a slight technical delay, but that won't delay what we're doing tonight. So that's the good news. When we do this call, you have to be prepared for anything. It's a live motivation.
Stacey,
don't you just love it?
Stacy,
there you go. There she is.
Well, I was just talking. I was going through my presentation, and I was like, and then I heard you talking. I said, well, let me hang up and call back. So thank you so much. It takes a team to make the dream. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Stacy N.C. Grant, for holding down the fort. So today I'm going to go ahead and proceed as normal. I don't know what you've done, Stacy, but I know you probably...
Just welcomed everybody to the first Monday in June. Turning it back over to you to introduce our speaker tonight.
All right, welcome. Well, everyone, we are so excited tonight because we have a phenomenal speaker for you tonight, and his name is Mr. Velton Showell III. And let me tell you a little bit about Velton. Velton is a business consultant, certified sales trainer, author, and motivational speaker known for his wit and wisdom. Customers everywhere appreciate his humor, style, and useful techniques. He combines research and theory with real-life experiences. For over 25 years, he led award-winning sales operations, teaching, training, and making significant revenue gains. Velton helps organizations select programs and resource materials that deepen and sustain their business opportunities. His energy has been widely appreciated by his clients. He is considered one of the nation's leading business experts in sales and marketing. His ability to find common language with team members while building a cohesive environment is well documented. Velton is currently a featured columnist for Black Meetings and Tourism magazine. He hosts a weekly internet-based radio show on Blog Talk Radio entitled Selling as a Professional, and TV show The Transformation Zone. Velton, how are you?
I am fantastic, Anita. I am just excited to be here and a part of this family, this network, and just this organization, because it means so much to me, and it's so powerful, and it means so much to so many. So thanks very much for the warm welcome, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you so much, Velton. Well, Velton, I know that you have a lot to say, so I'm going to mute my phone and take out my pen and paper so you can get started.
Fantastic. You know, I appreciate that very much, and today was a very, very special day for me. And I would be remiss in doing what I do without really telling you what happened for me today. As Anita said, I host a weekly television show called The Transformation Zone. And today was probably the most exciting show that I've had since I started doing the show itself. And the reason it was so exciting is I had a gentleman as a guest on my show today who gave me my official start as a salesperson. Yes, a gentleman who believed in me and gave me the opportunity to begin to cut my teeth in sales. And you know, it's funny because many times in our life, somebody has to touch us. Somebody has to believe in us enough to give us that opportunity just to get started. many of us are stuck in neutral because we just don't want to take a chance. And Zig Ziglar said that fear has killed more dreams than failure ever could. And as I sat there in the studio today, and I began to converse with my friend Rick, who I've known for 30 years, so many memories came back to me, and so many things came back to me about what had happened and transpired in my life over the course of that 30-year period. And I'm here to tell you tonight that many times we don't really appreciate what's happening to us when it's happening. We have valleys and we have difficulties in our life, and we just sit there, and in the moment, we look at ourselves as being defeated. We look at ourselves as not being able to live up to our own individual expectations. And one of the things that we have to remember continuously is that success begins with first believing in yourself. That's really the secret to success, being willing to believe in yourself. Are you willing to do the things today that other people won't, to have the things tomorrow that other people can't? Do you believe that you have what it takes? And as I sat there with Rick and we began to talk, one of my favorite quotes and one of the things that I really remember a lot of times is that lump of coal. And everybody, if you can picture a lump of coal, it's just a black, shiny stone that sits there. But through pressure, through constant nurturing and shaping and forming, the earth can take a lump of coal and turn it into a diamond. And as I sat there and I talked to Rick, I remember the days when I wanted to be a salesperson. And I sat with him and I talked to him, and he said, Velton, we just don't think you have what it takes. We just don't think you're sales material. You've got to prove yourself to us. You've got to be willing to put in the work, to put in the time, to put in the effort in another area to show us that you're worthy of sales. And I thought that was one of the worst things that you could do to a person, because, when you're having an ambition to do something in your life, and you have a dream, and you have a goal, and somebody rains on your parade, somebody tarnishes your armor and tells you, you just don't have what it takes. We don't think it's in you. How do you feel? Well, I know how I felt, and I know how most people feel. You feel defeated. You feel deflated. You feel like your whole world is just falling in on top of you, and you just aren't able to do the things that you want to do to be successful. But one of my favorite quotes also says that you don't drown by falling in the water. You drown by staying there. And many times people are going to put you in a situation where you feel like you fell in the water, and you'll tread water. You're trying not to go down for the third time. You're trying to make sure that you can swim to the shore. But because you're putting in the effort to swim to the shore, you're not staying there. You're moving ahead. You're doing the things that you need to do to be successful. And that's what's important. It's not important where you start. It's important where you finish and how you finish. And as I sat there and I talked to Rick, we talked about those days where I wanted to be a salesperson and I couldn't get into sales because they didn't believe in me. But I had to believe in myself. And there are going to be days in your life that people aren't going to believe in you, but you've got to be willing to believe in yourself. You have to be willing to put in the time and make the commitment that no one is going to defeat you. You are not willing to stop until you get what you want. Otherwise, you want to get what it is that you are dreaming and striving for. I sat there today and I talked to Rick, and we talked about those days, and I'll never forget it. He said to me, the day we gave you the opportunity, we were very, very nervous. We didn't know if we made the right decision. And even at that point, it was a temporary situation. But I was able to prove them wrong. And he said to me, you proved us wrong. You were able to stick with it when we thought you would quit. And I'm here to tell you, quitting is the easy way out. Quitting is the way that we can just walk away from something and turn our back on our dreams. We're not built or made to turn our back on our dreams. We are not built or made to be afraid to step out there. Marianne Williamson had a poem called Your Deepest Fear. And what is your deepest fear? And I'm here to tell you, your deepest fear is not that you're inadequate. Your deepest fear is that you are powerful beyond measure. It is your light, not your darkness, that frightens you. And I firmly believe that in all of us. Most of us are afraid of our success. We're not afraid of failure. We failed 1,000 times. But what if we are successful is really what frightens us? What if you're able to accomplish what you want to do in life? What if you're able to do the things that other people can't? What's going to happen? What's going to change? Are you willing to look at life through an open door? Most of us spend many of our days looking at life through the rearview mirror. Think about driving a car. How far would we get if we drove a car looking at the road through our rearview mirror? Turn yourself around. Turn your focus forward. Be afraid to be bold and brazen and do the things that other people won't. And one day have the things that other people can't. I tell you, today was just an amazing day for me, because as I talked to Rick and I talked about myself and I talked about what I had accomplished, what really rang home to me was not my accomplishments, but I sat there with a gentleman who not only helped shape my diamond, but shaped his own. When he and I worked together 27, almost 30 years ago, he was the general manager of a multi-million-dollar hotel, one of the most successful hotels in the country, a hotel that was running almost 90% occupancy on an annual basis. And this gentleman quit his job. You say, why? Why would someone who's so successful take another opportunity? Well, he had a dream. He had a dream to be an entrepreneur. He had a dream that he wanted to be his own boss. And he stepped out on faith. He took the talent and the things that he had learned and began to shape them to build his dream. He started a small clothing store. He started a small clothing store that didn't sell men's clothes, but sold women's clothes. And I know there are men on the line going, he sold women's clothes? Because when he first told me the idea many years ago, and he told many, many people his idea, they said, you're going to sell women's clothes? I can't believe you're going to sell women's clothes. What do you know about women's clothing? But he had a vision. He had a dream. He had a destiny that was not everybody else's obvious solution. He had a dream that he wanted to birth. He had a goal that he wanted to achieve. Many times in your life, you're going to have dreams. You're going to have goals, and there are going to be people around you who don't see the dream. They don't see the goal. They're going to dissuade you from taking a chance. They're going to tell you that you're crazy, that you shouldn't take that opportunity because they just can't see it. I'm here to tell you, that's okay. They don't have to see it. It wasn't given to them. That dream was not given to them to bring life to. That dream was not given to them for them to birth that dream. It's your dream. That's something that the Creator instilled inside of you, a talent, a gift for you to bring forth to the world. And as Rick began to build his dream, people just didn't see it. And he started a small clothing store in the inner harbor of Baltimore. Small clothing store selling women's clothes. A man on a mission selling women's clothes. The dream was to sell women's clothes that were all white. And the first store, his vision, his dream that he birthed was a small clothing store boutique called the White House. He began a small store, just one store, called the White House. And over time, as the pressure began to shape that lump of coal into that infamous diamond, the White House took shape. It became one of the most successful clothing stores to date. That store is now known today as White House Black Market. Has over 450 different boutiques across the country. Think about this. If he had listened to those people who didn't see his dream, if he had allowed them to stop his transformation, if he had allowed them to keep him in the small box that he called home, where would he be today? Where would the White House Black Market clothing stores be today? I'm here to tell you that you have a dream. You have a vision. You have power that you have yet to unleash. Harness your vision. Harness your dream. Harness that power. It is yours to bring life. It is yours to bring forward and birth that dream for the world to see. We all have gifts, but most of us give up long before our gifts ever mature. And as I told you, and as Anita told you in the beginning, I work with sales professionals and entrepreneurs. And many times, salespeople give up just before they win. One more phone call, one more conversation, one more negotiation, one more sales call, and they could win. And they give up and stop. Think about life and your life. I think about my life. How many times have I been on the brink of success only not to do one more thing? Early in my career, I learned that the hard way. I would do things and give up and walk away. And it's not unusual. It's human nature. One of my favorite poems is something called The Truth. And I want to tell you what The Truth is all about, because it's all about not giving up. 80% of people give up after trying 5 times. If they try something 5 times and are unsuccessful, they give up. Thomas Edison tried to invent the light bulb over 9,000 times. On the 10,000th plus time, he invented the light bulb. And when he was asked, why would you try something and fail 9,000 times? His response was, I didn't fail 9,000 times. I found 9,000 ways that wouldn't work, but 10,000 brought light to the world. So make sure that you're willing to stick with it and stay in it for the long haul. Because 80% of people don't go 5 times, don't try 5 times. 48% of people may try 1 time, 1 more time, and walk away from it. Make sure that you're not one of those who gives up. 25% of people will try twice and quit. It's like, you know what? I've done it twice, didn't work, I'm ready to walk away, I'm done. 25%. 17% of people will try 3 times and quit. 3 strikes, you're out. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm moving on. I'm going somewhere else. 10% of people keep calling, keep trying. Only 10% of the population is willing to stick with their dream and their goal. Think about the elite of the sales force. Think about the top entrepreneurs and successful business people in this country. It's about 10% or less of the population because they have the stick-with-itness. They have the attitude and are willing to do what it takes. And 80% of all of the wealth of this country and all of the success of sales and entrepreneurs is held by only 10% of the population. Are you willing to do the things that others won't, to have the things that others can't? I ask you that, and I challenge you. Get in the saddle, put on the stirrups, ride that horse into the sunset, and only you can unlock the door to your dreams. Only you can have what you want if you put in the time, the effort, and do the work. Anita?
Velton, powerful message. Powerful, powerful. Velton, I have a question for you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Now, you were initially telling us about how your sales manager or your manager didn't want to hire you. And you said success begins with first believing in yourself. Now, a lot of us have heard Les Brown's story, how he went back over and over and over and over again. So what do you think that it was that made this manager who looked at you and said, Velton, I just don't think you have what it takes? What do you think it was that made him hire you? Or what's part of that story that you're not telling him?
Well, the part of the story that I didn't tell you is I was actually forced to take a job that I didn't want for 18 months. Okay. I became a hotel assistant manager working 3 nights and 2 days a week for a year and a half. And they put me in that job because they thought it would make me quit. But what ended up happening, I was the best hotel assistant manager they'd ever seen. So at the end of that time, they had no choice. They had to ask me what they could do for me.
Wow.
And what they could do for me was allow me an opportunity in sales.
So you were willing to do the things that got you where you are. So that's what the real story is. You were willing to do the work.
That's why I say yes.
Go ahead.
You have to be willing to do the things that other people won't, to have the things that other people can't. Because I could have just done a mediocre job.
Absolutely.
And they would have kept me in that job forever.
Absolutely. Well, that's a powerful story because I'm like Les. I'm trained to hear behind the story. So I know the listeners on the call are saying, how did he get that job? What made them say, you don't have it, then they turn around and give you the job? So that's the key. You've got to be willing to do those things, and you were willing to do it. And so the listeners that are on the call, you have to keep going back. You have to keep going back, and you have to keep pressing and all of the things that you talked about us, and give birth to those dreams, as you said earlier. Now, I know that everyone on the call are wondering, how can they get in touch with you? So tell the listeners that are on the call your information, how they can get in touch with you. Then we're going to open up the call for a few minutes and hear a couple of things that the listeners have to say.
Fantastic. You can contact me. You can go to my website, which is veltonshowell.com. It's VeltonShowell. And actually, if you go to my website and you leave me your name and your email address, I will send you an MP3 on 10 tips on how to handle a difficult negotiation as a gift for just visiting my website and saying hello. You can also email me at info@veltonshowell.com, and I do answer my emails, and I'd love to talk to you. You can follow me on Facebook at Strategic Solutions LLC, my fan page. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, Velton Showell. You can also listen to some of the stories and some of the messages that I have on my YouTube channel. And this weekend, I'm going to be speaking on a platform with my good friend Ruben West. I know Stacy and Anita are going to be on the platform also on Live Your Best Life. And you can register to hear over 35 major speakers. Many of them are Les Brown's Platinum speakers at liveyourbestlife14.com.
liveyourbestlife14.com. Okay, well, all right, listeners, you got that, and we'll remind you again at the end of the call. So Velton, your specialty, you are a business consultant, certified sales trainer, and I know that you're an author and a motivational speaker as well. So you focus on helping people take their sales to the small businesses, large businesses. Who do you speak to? Who would benefit from your service?
I work with both. I work with major corporations, and with major corporations, I work primarily with their sales operation and their leadership team. But I also work with entrepreneurs, and one of the things I want all of the entrepreneurs on this call to understand, if you're an entrepreneur and you're not the number one salesperson in your organization, then you've got a lot of work to do, because you can't leave your dream success to someone else's ability to sell it. You have to be able to sell your dream better than anybody else because it's yours.
Now, you were the number one. You've always been the number one salesperson, or how did you become the number one?
You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. You have to understand. And let me just say this also, Anita. What people have to understand is sales is not all about the technique as far as, the 6 prospecting, qualifying, negotiating, presenting, closing, and so forth. Sales is about personal relationships, developing relationships with your customers, utilizing your strategic network to open doors that otherwise would be closed to you. If you're doing cold calls, your success ratio is less than 2%.
That's powerful, because one of the things that Les always tells us, he says that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So building those relationships, whether you're in sales or any kind of business, it is going to help you become number one at everything you do. Is that correct, Velton?
Absolutely. And one of the last things I'll leave them with is, I went into an operation where there were over 18,000 accounts in this office. We took those 18,000 accounts down to 1,200 contacts. I had 12 salespeople. Each of them got 100 contacts to work, versus an office with those 12 people were working 18,000 accounts for the company. In 4 years, we took that office from $24 to $98 million.
Wow. So what would you say the success was? I mean, what made the difference?
What made the difference is, instead of 12 people trying to run after 18,000 accounts, 12 people each had to develop a long-standing relationship with just 100 people. 100 people that we handpicked and selected for them to develop a relationship with, and the rest was history. They basically were responsible for at least 80% of the business that these people had in their hands to generate for the company, and it was their duty just to make sure that they held their hand, they were there for them, they talked to them, they got to know who they were behind the company, who their children were, and they became friends. People do business with their friends and people that they feel comfortable with. If you've got 2 products that are identical, the person who's going to win the sale is the person who has the relationship.
Powerful words, and because I've been in sales for a long time, and I understand exactly what you're talking about. Cold calling, all of those things, all of those steps, that's a process. But when you build those relationships, you can make more impact. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, listeners, we are going to open up the call for a few minutes and take a few calls. I know that you're waiting anxiously to ask Velton some questions. So here's how we're going to do this. We want to hear from some new voices. Those of you that are sitting back on the line that haven't said anything, this is your opportunity. We hear from some people on a regular basis. We want to let some other people speak because we want to give them an opportunity to get their voice out there. So *6, I'm going to unmute the line. If you have a comment or question for Velton Showell, *6 to unmute your handset. Let's see if it's going to work.
All callers are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Okay, all right. So if you have a call or a comment for Velton Showell, this is your opportunity to *6 and unmute your handset.
I muted myself. My name is Mike Torino.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? This is my first time on the call.
Well, welcome. Thank you for joining. You have a comment or question?
Yeah, I just have a comment.
Okay.
I'm in Maui, Hawaii. Me and my wife have a professional car detailing business, and I just wanted to thank him for the opportunity to share his story, and we really enjoyed listening to him. And just let him know that we went to his website to fill out that information.
Well, thank you. Well, make sure you stay connected and join us every Monday night on the calls. We appreciate your connecting with us tonight.
You're welcome.
All right. Anyone else? *6 to unmute your handset. If you have a comment or question for Velton Showell.
Yes, how you doing? This is Serge.
Hey, Serge.
Yes, how you doing? And how you doing, Mr. Showell? How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. How are you, Serge?
I'm fine, sir. Yes, I got your website, veltonshowell.com, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you also hold conference calls or anything of your leadership training anytime, or is that something that you're looking to do?
Yes, I have two things. Actually, I have a radio show that airs every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. It's on Blog Talk Radio, and it's called Selling as a Profession.
Okay.
And I also have an internet-based television show, which airs on Wednesday night at 10:30, and then Tuesday night at 10:30, and Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. It's on WRPBITV.com, and it's called The Transformation Zone.
Okay. So are you looking to hold any conference calls anytime soon, or is that
Yes, I am. I will be doing that in the not-so-distant future. We're actually getting ready to set up some teleseminar calls. So if you would, go ahead and register on my website, and you'll be getting my newsletter, which is coming out, or comes out monthly, and it'll give you an update and keep you abreast of when we'll be doing our teleseminars.
Okay, my friend. I'm looking to get on your show, man.
Very good.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Comments or questions for Mr. Velton Showell?
Hey, Velton. This is Denzor Richburg calling from Virginia, Northern Virginia.
How are you, sir?
I am wonderful. Thank you for such an inspirational message. And thanks, Anita, also for hosting. And I have a question for you. How did you get past your fear? And you made a comment that we are sometimes fearful of our success and not fearful of failure. Now, we've always heard the opposite. Of course, just being afraid of failing. And I've experienced let's say goals that I've set for myself that I hadn't achieved, and I've always been I've learned from the process, but I try to stay persistent and consistent with achieving those goals. But at times, I lose motivation. So my next question is, how did you get past your fear personally, and what did you do to maintain your motivation?
Well, there are two answers there. To get past my my personal fear, I had to start to surround myself with people that were supportive of my success. A lot of times we can't get out of our own way, and we surround ourselves with people who are not in our cheering section, people who constantly tell us we can't versus encouraging us to try and telling us that we can. So what ends up happening is not only are we afraid, but the fear gets reinforced because we're not in a positive environment. We're not surrounding ourselves with people that have our best interest of success in mind. The second part of that is, a lot of us spend a lot of time in the gymnasium. We spend a lot of time with a dietitian, and we eat right, and we take care of our bodies. But what do we feed our mind? We spend 10 to 12 hours a day watching television, or we spend 10 to 12 hours a day at work building someone else's dream. But when it's our own personal time, we don't feed our mind with positive information, positive reinforcement, things that will allow us to step outside of our comfort zone and push the envelope. So we've got to take, Les has taught all of us, especially the Platinums, to make sure that we read at least 12 pages a day of something positive, no matter what your field is, no matter what your dream is, something that's going to be supportive and educate you to bring you to a new level of success. So if you continue to surround yourself with the right people and feed your mind with the right positive information, your fears will go away because you'll develop the confidence that you need to go from here to eternity.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was thank you for that.
All right. Powerful response. Great question. We have time for one more question. I think someone just *6 to unmute their handset.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Good. Go ahead.
This is Drew Dockery up in Buffalo, New York.
How are you?
Hey.
I'm doing very well. I had a question. Just looking at the situation, your current situation, and how successful you are now, knowing what you know now, if you can go back and start all over again, just clean slate, no real prospects on the list or anything like that, is there one thing that you would have done then that you know now?
Interesting. I think I probably would have spent more time writing and documenting information. One of the things that I'm doing now is, as you heard, telling some of the stories of the things that allowed me to go from where I was to where I am today. But I wouldn't change the journey because the journey has really made me who I am. The lessons that I learned were the lessons that allowed me to step into the situation and appreciate it for what it is. A lot of times, we go down a road in our life and we're doing things and we don't understand why it's so hard, why this is happening to me. But it's just like that lump of coal that's being shaped into a diamond. Without it being cut, without it being changed, without it being formed into something different, then it still remains a lump of coal. It has value, but it really doesn't have the value that a 20-carat diamond has. And as it gets the pressure, as it gets the hard times that it has to go through, now that it understands its purpose and its true value. And I think that's really, to me, that's the most valuable part of anything I ever had to go through, ups, downs, or anything. I just wish I had paid a little bit more attention and documented it a little bit more, because there are people that are coming up today, especially our younger folks, who need to hear the lessons that we've learned that will give them the positive influence and information to help them even reach higher heights than we are able to reach.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Velton Showell, it's Stacey N.C. Grant, listening to all of our wonderful listeners, getting so much from your presentation. Those takeaways were phenomenal. I know Anita was facilitating that last part of the discussion, and just thank you for bringing a message tonight that resonated with so many people. And I want you to just repeat one more time, Velton, before we give the announcements for the night, and let folks know how they can stay connected. I'm just so excited to hear so many new voices.
All callers are muted.
Absolutely. As the question came up about how to follow me, and let me just tell you, the radio show at 6:30 on Thursday evenings on Blog Talk Radio. You can log in. You can listen on your telephone, and I have some of the most incredible minds that come and talk to us. So make sure that you make the radio show. The phone number is 917-889-7881. You can listen in every Thursday evening at 6:30. My television show airs on Tuesday evenings at 10:30 p.m. and then again on Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. It is on WRPBITV.com, WRPBITV.com. And all of my shows are incredible. The gentleman I talked about, Rick, was my guest today. His show will air next week. You can follow me on Facebook at Strategic Solutions LLC, and like my fan page, I give motivational and strategic sales messages a few times a day. You can follow me on LinkedIn at Velton Showell, which is my profile. You can also go to my website, which is veltonshowell.com, and to get my newsletter, if you leave me your name and your email address, I will give you a free MP3, and you'll get my newsletter once a month that comes out about sales strategies, techniques, and new things that we're going to be working on in 2014 and beyond.
Velton, would you spell your name for the listeners, please?
Absolutely. It is V as in Victor, E-L-T-O-N. My last name is S-H-O-W-E-L-L.
All right, VeltonShowell.com. Thank you so much, Velton. And Stacey is going to tell you, listeners, how you can stay connected every day of the week. Stacey N.C. Grant.
Well, thank you so much. Once again, Anita Hicks and Velton, great job. As I just said, you gave a wonderful message of inspiring those who are listening, who stay connected to Les every week in this Platinum Call and what they can do to keep moving forward. So if you've been inspired and you want to stay in contact with all the Platinum speakers, you can start your week on Sundays with Own Your Dreams with Ona Brown radio show. That's every Sunday, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join the conversation live at 404-355-8699. Or you can listen online at www.onabrown.com. That's O-N-A-B-R-O-W-N. And yes, she is related to Mr. Les Brown. That's one of his baby girls. And on Tuesdays, you can join Hot Soul Topics on the Soul radio show with Valerie and Parker every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can call in 760-913-4115, or you can log on to blogtalkradio.com/Soul Topics, S-O-U-L Topics, T-O-P-I-C-S. Or you can visit arisebyvnp.com for more information. On the first and third Tuesdays of every month, you can join Evelyn Polk, a.k.a. the Heart Lady, on Blog Talk Radio /Heart, like H-E-A-R-T, the heart we have inside, Heart Talk with Ms. M.S. and the letter E, Heart Talk with Ms. E. And that's 6 p.m. Pacific Time, Dial-in number 424-675-8303 or log on to talktomisse.com for more information. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, you can join a free teleclass with businessbootcamponline.com, attorney Sean B. Arnold. That's businessbootcamponline.com with attorney Sean B. Arnold. Then get a second dose of Sean on Legal Biz Cafe, and that's 8 p.m. Pacific Time every Wednesday night on Blog Talk Radio. So that's Blog Talk Radio /Legal Biz, B-I-Z, Cafe. You can join Trish Talks on Intention Radio. That's www.intentionradio.com /Trish, Trish-talks. And that's 7 p.m. Pacific Time every Wednesday. On Thursdays, you heard Velton Showell announce his call every Thursday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Log on to Velton Showell, VeltonShowell.com for further information. Show up for your life free motivational call with the one and only Andy Enriquez every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dial-in number 712-432-6100, PIN number 114431#, or visit showupforyourlife.com for further information. If you want to learn how to speak and make money, log on to speakandmakemoney.com so that you can find out more information about Anita Hicks' next program, or find out information at www.anitahicks, A-N-I-T-A, Hicks, Hicks.com. And the first 10 people who register on her site will receive a free copy of Live Your Authentic Life featuring Les Brown and Anita Hicks. Get your free inspirational video messages and interviews with me, Stacey N.C. Grant, on YouTube, www.youtube.com /Stacey N.C. Grant. That's S-T-A-C-I-E-N-C, like North Carolina, Grant. You can also go to my website to sign up for upcoming events and information at www.staceyncgrant.com. I'm the only Stacey N.C. Grant on the planet. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you want to increase your confidence, your influence, and your sales as a speaker, join seminarswithstar.com. That's seminarswithstar, STAR.com, or email star@starbabatoon.com, BOBATOON. And don't forget to connect with Mr. Brown on Facebook at brown.les, that's brown.les, for you to interact and get his inspirational messages, as well as lesbrownevents.com for further information on where he will be live next. Thank you so much for listening. Stay connected to the Platinum family. This is what we do, inspire and motivate as we continue to build Mr. Brown's 100,000 voices of hope on the planet. Stacey N.C. Grant signing off. Thank you, Anita, and thank you, Velton.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Velton, for a powerful, powerful message. And listeners, please invite someone to the call next week. And if anyone is interested in learning how to become a part of Les Brown's Platinum Speakers, you can email me, Anita, that's Anita@AnitaHicks.com. That's ANITA @AnitaHicks.com. And also, those of you that want to learn how to speak and make money, it is a live webinar on June the 11th. So go to www.speakandmakemoney and register for the webinar. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. And I want to encourage you, as I do each and every week, to never, ever give up on your dreams, because the world awaits your light, your authentic gift. God bless you, and God bless your dreams. Good night, Stacey, and good night, Velton. And thank you again.
Good night, Anita.
Good night.